I think I felt this way all along, but it wasn't until a couple of weeks ago when I heard Mel Robbins say it on one of her podcasts that it all makes sense now. And what she was talking about that day was something called negativity bias. Now, I don't know whether it was my upbringing and the way that my parents are or something else, but if you ask anybody, most people would say that I have a tendency to lean more towards feeling pessimistic about something rather than feeling optimistic. Perhaps it's medical school, because when you're in med school, when you're training to be a doctor, you get taught you always think about the worst possible outcome, the worst possible scenario, because if you can rule that out, or if you can put that in your mind and you can consider it, you've got a much better chance of helping the patient and keeping them alive. That's all good and well when you're a doctor, but it's really not that great in real life. You see, thousands and thousands of years ago, when we all lived in caves and it was a daily struggle to find food, water, shelter, heat, the ability to focus on the dangers helps keep you alive. The moment you walk out of your cave, if you've not got your wits about you, you get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. And if enough people get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, the human race ceases to exist. So it was back then a super important thing that this whole flight or fight, this whole protective mechanism saved us from a painful, horrible death. But it is now 2025. Saber-toothed tigers physically don't exist. There are definitely other representations of saber-toothed tigers, and we always still have to be very careful and be on our toes. But for someone who lives in a country like Australia, most of us are lucky enough to be able to provide ourselves and our family with the things that I mentioned earlier, things like shelter, warmth, water, food, clothing. And if we're fortunate enough to have these and we don't have to fight for them every single day, what is our brain trying to do? Our protective mechanisms that the brain has set up over all this time, helping us live our everyday lives. Straight out of the box, if you talk tech, straight out of the box, our brain is designed to protect us, and that's its number one goal. Number one goal is to protect us from dying. Number two is to minimize the amount of pain and suffering. And then maybe number three is to help us consider what is enjoyable and what's fun, and trying to help us make our lives something that is to be cherished and something that's worth enjoying. Most of us, if we had a computer, we don't sit on the original release of the software, and we have sequential software updates that improves our thinking, improves the function of the device that we have. But a lot of us get stuck in we have not updated our software in our brain ever since we got it. And we are still in that mode where we're protecting ourselves and we're thinking all the bad things. Sport to me is a metaphor for life. And if we think of ourselves as someone who has reached the pinnacle of our sport, just for example, we're playing, say, professional football, we're on top of the ladder, we've won every game. The issue is when we get to the point where we start doubting ourselves. We start thinking, instead of how do we keep going the way we're doing and actually improving even on the performance that got us here in the first place, we start thinking about stuff like, if you're top, if you're number one, there's only one place to go, and that's down. If you're driving down the road of life and instead of staring ahead, you keep looking at the rearview mirror, what you're going to see? You're going to see your competitors, the people who are behind you, and all of a sudden they're getting closer and closer. And then what do? You panic, you stress out, you stop doing the things that got you there in the first place, and you start playing defense. You start over-codding, you start over-protecting the stuff that you already have because you don't want to lose it. So instead of trying to push ahead and innovate and do more stuff, you're completely on the defensive in the fact that you're just trying to save what you have. And we all know what happens then. If you try to protect the lead, invariably you lose, because what you did to get you to that lead, you are no longer applying in your life. The world around us is full of negativity, and because it sells. Newspapers sell because people seem to be more focused on stuff that's bad than the stuff that's good. How often and what ratio do you think you see on the news or on news websites where there's an abundance of good news? It's hardly ever. What you see is a long list of things that have gone bad. The stock market has crashed. The president's ruining the world. There's global warming. People are dying. People are getting killed. People are getting murdered. There's terrorism. There's all this kind of stuff. And that is the focus, because people focus on that kind of stuff. There's this rare good news story which makes people tear up for a little bit, but 99% of the stuff in the news is not even neutral. It's certainly not positive. It's negative news. Being a tech channel, if you read stuff like product reviews, if you read things like forums about certain products because you're looking for something, 99% of the stuff there is also negative. People are always focusing on what's gone wrong, what could go wrong, what is bad, rather than what is good about anything. Like, people don't go on online forums, and people don't write reviews in general about how good this particular phone is. They write about all the bad stuff because that's their focus. Because it's almost like, yes, I'm winning, that's good, but it's much worse if I lose. And by having that mindset actually takes away your ability to enjoy your wins, because you're so focused on the stuff that you may lose. You're so focused on the fact that this phone, which you look so forward to getting, you spent thousands of dollars on, has all these cool features, has one bad feature, and you're focused on that so much more than all the other good stuff. And it turns that phone no longer into something you want to enjoy using, because that one thing has just wrecked it. It's like, for me, I'll give you some personal examples. For me, it's like you buy a new camera, somehow you're at Klutz and you drop it, there's a tiny little scratch on the body of the camera. It does not in any way affect the functioning of the camera whatsoever. It's not like you've broken the lens, it's not like you've broken the screen, it's not like you can no longer put the lens on, but you're so focused on that tiny little scratch that it kind of takes away your ability to enjoy using the camera just because of this darn little scratch. And that, people might laugh at that, and people say, you're silly, you're an idiot. But how many times do you have that? You buy a new car and you're really enjoying driving this car, and all of a sudden, not unexpectedly, you're driving down the road and a rock flies up and puts a little dent like on your bonnet or something, and you're so upset about it, and the whole car now sucks because you're so worried and you're so focused on this little dent that you've forgotten how cool this car was 5 minutes ago before you got the dent. And realistically, it doesn't change the functioning of the car whatsoever. And if you hadn't have known about it, you wouldn't know about it, and you would just be enjoying the car just as it was last week. It's like when you finished a test and you think you did pretty well, but you're focusing on that one question that you think you got wrong, and you're now stressing out because you think you failed because you stuffed that one question out of the 100. It's like you look at reviews and there's 99 positive ones, but what sticks out in your head? It's the one negative one. So you ignore the 99 positives and you focus on the fact that that one person has wrote a shitty review about a product that you either want to buy or that you already got. And you don't even know how genuine this one review. We've taken out the majority, kind of focused on the tiny, because of this negativity bias. It's the fact that anything that is not good trumps the stuff that is good. And that's the way a lot of us go through life. We meet people, friends, partners, have families, where 99% of the stuff they do is good, but we're focused on that one thing. Like, I could never go out with this person because he doesn't put his jacket back in the closet every night when he finishes. He treats me really well, he's nice to my kids, but that's the one thing he doesn't do, and I can't go out with him. That's the one little thing. Negativity bias. I really would like to visit this city because it looks amazing on all the reviews, it looks amazing on Instagram, but there's one place in the city where apparently people get robbed a lot, and it's a high crime area, so I better not go there because I don't want to get in trouble, I don't want to get robbed. Negativity bias. We all know this. We all know that this is how we think. A lot of the time, some of us think about this more than other people, but it's all within us. And I really think that it does detract from our ability to live a full, happy, fulfilling life, because we spend all our time not doing something, because we are looking for the negatives out of every situation. Like, I don't want to go here because this might happen. I don't want to buy this because what if I happen to buy the wrong thing and it's not what I like? I don't want to try this food in case I don't like it. I don't want to meet this person in case they're mean to me. I don't want to get this car because there's been a report that some of them have electrical problems prematurely. I'm scared, I'm fearful. And what we do is we play it safe. We don't do anything that we want to do because we are so focused on the negative aspects of the things that may happen. It takes away our ability to look ahead. It takes away our ability to see it in a positive light. And we all have regrets. We all know that we haven't done stuff because we've listened to somebody else, we've read something negative, And we kind of really wish we did it. And there've been times where we've read all this stuff and heard all this stuff and we did it anyway. And lo and behold, we found that it's actually as good as we thought. And all that negative stuff was a load of garbage. And we're so glad that we didn't listen to it. But yet we don't learn. Yet we keep doing the same thing and we keep plodding along, and we assume that being safe is better than taking the risk and losing. We play it safe. We don't try to pursue a different career. We don't try to pursue being a YouTuber full time because we're worried that we're going to fail and we're going to never be able to earn enough money to support our lives, and then we don't go for it. We assume that this is the certain level that we can get up to in our life, and we're not going to ever be able to get any better than this, so we don't go that extra mile to get to that level that we're aiming for in the first place. Nothing in life comes easy, nothing in life is free, nothing in life comes without effort, but negativity bias becomes another excuse to a lot of us because we use that, we say that to stop us from doing shit. And I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop using excuses, using negative talk, using this whole negativity bias thing, which I know very well. I'm going to stop using that as a reason why I don't try stuff, that I don't experience stuff, just in case that I do something and I don't like it, or I'm not good at it, or I fail at it, or I get injured doing it. Like, you can hear the sirens in the background, and I know that it's just like a distraction for this video, but if you think about it, you're living a life, that could be you in that ambulance. That could be you being rushed to hospital due to something that is completely got nothing to do with you. I mean, it's likely, ironically, that while I'm making this video, it's likely that the person who's in the ambulance being rushed to the hospital right now isn't in the ambulance on the way to hospital because they took a risk to do something positive instead of something negative and they hurt themselves. The chances are is somebody's just going about their everyday lives, and perhaps they had a heart attack, perhaps they got hit by a car, by a drunk driver, we don't know. Anytime we deprive ourselves of the opportunity to do something we want because we are focused on all the bad shit, we can't because this might happen, this has to stop. I've lived too much of my life now with that mindset. Like I said at the start of the video, whether it's something that it's just been ingrained into my brain because of the way my family brought me up, or because of my medical training, or whatever I've accumulated and acquired over these years of living that has put me in a situation where I focus on, hang on, what if I do this? Instead of thinking, what if everything goes bad, how about I change my mindset to, what if everything goes well? What if everything turns out even far better than what I expected? People even turn that into a negative, like, I didn't expect to be so famous. I made this YouTube video and it exploded. I got 1 million views. Now everyone recognizes me and now I can monetize and everyone knows who I am. How is that a bad thing? But people do that. People always think on the side of negativity, on the side of pessimism, and no one I know has ever lived a happy life doing that. And now is the time. Yesterday was better, but today is the time to stop thinking like that. So hopefully you'll notice some changes in me as I move my life in a different direction and just to pursue the possibility that things might turn out good rather than bad. So thank you for watching. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, consider liking and subscribing. You don't have to because I love you anyway, and I'll catch you next week in another video. See ya.